Slick roads can make it easy for anyone to get into a car accident or even slip and fall while walking, but if there's no one else involved, Jay, who's responsible for paying for the damages and injuries? Well, he's here to weigh in with us right now, our legal expert, Jay Davis. All right, let's start with me as an example. Let's say I'm driving down a county or state road. Maybe my car hits some black ice, I swerve, and I hit either a barrier or a telephone pole. Legally, am I the only one who's responsible?
You're the only one that's responsible as long as that's what happened. If you hit black ice, for example, then that's a natural phenomenon. And even though we take a lot of God out of these law these days, that is considered an act of God legally. And therefore, there's nobody else responsible, not the state, not the county. If the county's working on the roads and have the roads in a precarious situation, then the county can become liable. But when it's something that's a natural phenomenon, that's not the case.
Okay, and what if there is another vehicle involved? I know that we talked about this earlier. You know, let's say I hit someone else and it's the ice on the road. Now am I the one who's responsible? How does that work?
If you hit ice on the road and you run into somebody else, then you are liable for that because you're presumed to go at a speed that's safe for whatever the conditions of the road may be.
Okay.
You're responsible for what those are. Now, if there's something that happens to the road, for example, if a tree falls away from the road and the roots pop up and knock your vehicle into another vehicle, then that wouldn't be the case. But if your speed could have controlled it or your driving abilities could have controlled what the circumstance was, then you're going to be liable.
And now we've heard Governor Deal, declare a state of emergency for Georgia. We've heard the president declare a state of emergency for Georgia. Why are these government officials even doing that then? Is that for legal purposes? What is that for?
That's for financial purposes generally.
Okay.
So what they're basically saying is Governor Deal is saying, hey, there's a state of emergency in Georgia. We need more resources than what we have here. We need to borrow from other states. We need to borrow vehicles to put ice on the roads to make things as safe as they can be for our state.
Okay.
We don't have the resources to do it. That puts us in an emergency state. Then he requests to the federal government, to Obama, and Obama says, yes, it's a state of emergency. We're going to provide those resources that you need. Because there are states that have this more often have more resources to deal with this. Since Georgia doesn't have it as often, we don't have, 365 days a year of these vehicles that we don't need but 1 or 2 days in a year.
So I guess the lesson for today is just stay off the roads then.
Stay home, enjoy.
Read a good book, as Governor Deal said. Read a good book, right? And remember, you can catch Jay and his legal experts every Saturday on My 41.2 at 3 and on Sunday right here on 41 NBC at 6. And don't forget, if you've got a legal question for Jay, you can email us at itsthelaw@41nbc.com. We'll answer it right here on the news at 6.